So I'm a heavy pourer. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Again, I have had nothing to eat today.
Yes. So Tobola is a actual agave plant. So tequila, it's a Blue Weber agave that you can have it with just tequila, but mezcal, you have multiple different agave plants. And this particular expression, we chose the agave Tobola. It is in the ground for 12 to 15 years. It is a little bit more rare, tends not to be as cultivated and as like the green espadine and the different Kowinski and the different agave plants. So this one, I found through just tasting that this particular agave is my favorite agave.
Yeah.
It's smaller, it's sweeter.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely.
And it's also a lot more rare.
It is a lot more rare. So we did a limited batch to start. Yeah. So it's definitely, there's not as many.
Yeah.
The other expressions we'll have are the root is espadine, and that is the main, cultivated agave.
Okay. So
all right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I like to just do it, without any oranges or anything. Just, well, cheers.
Okay. Cheers. So it's still so good.
You know what we doing. Y'all know it takes a special track to do this. I'm on my P's and Q's, dripping sauce. It's just the fluid, it's the chef. I'm here to remind y'all I'm sick with it. My name is stuff that's hot. It's ubiquitous. Meaning it's one and the same, simple and plain. I'm all about my paper, the bacon, cheddar, and pain. I got these lanes running for the border. The talented Mr. Porter, keep it flowing like it's water. But here we go, there we go. Creeping to a low speed. Is it him and his friend sitting in the nosebleeds? Play it cool. He ain't special just cause he's on TV. Everybody's hands up, acting like they know we.
Welcome to another episode of the Taste Music Hear Food podcast show. I am your host, Ed Porter, and this is the place for food, music, and culture and how they all connect. My guest today, we go back. Okay, I don't want to age anybody in the room. Okay, but we go back quite some time. This woman is very, very special, multi-talented, and I had to get her on to talk about the things she has going on. But before we even get into any of that, I need to give her flowers that she so gracefully deserves. And I'm going to attempt to do that with this intro. So here we go. If taste can tell a story and music can distill memory, today's guest orchestrates both with soul and intention. Artist manager, cultural strategist, and co-founder of Las Melodías de la Luna Mezcal blends her legacy in the music industry with her passion for ancestral spirits. She's worked with legends like Prince, Outkast, and Chaka Khan, and now crafts a new legacy in Oaxaca with female mezcalera Rosario Ángeles. This isn't just mezcal, it's memory, music, and a movement in a bottle. Let's welcome the curator of flavor and feeling, my friend, Miss Jacqui Thompson.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you. No, thank you for being here, honestly.
Appreciate it.
We've been trying to make this happen. Definitely. We finally made it happen. Let's just jump right in. Again, you are, very instrumental in the music business, and now you are making waves in the spirit industry, which I think they're very synonymous. You're carrying on through the through lines of what it is that you do and how you do it by connecting people in a way that is strictly you. Like there's a way about it. So let's talk about how from music to the way you are now. How'd you get to where you are now?
Yeah, I in 2010 I wrote a business plan for my business partner and I. We were in music management, and I read it and I was like, we got some problems here. There weren't any DSPs at that point. So I was like, how are we going to make it through, with our young artists that, unless you had a really top artist that was out touring, and it was going to be tough. Mm-hmm. And I read it and I was like, so I talked to my partner and I said, hey, we should think about doing a brand thing. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But I know I see the writing on the wall
Right.
at that time.
Right.
And it presented to us. He was out and he was having a drink at a bar in Hollywood. Sat there, ordered a Patron. You know, and
It's what it is.
the guy, this is the truth though. The guy was like, you know, why did you order that? And he says, well, it's the best. And the guy just kind of looked at him and went, okay, well, let's try this.
Right.
And it ended up his smaller batch, tequila and mezcal. So for about 6 months, he courted my business partner because he knew he had a lot of connections. I had met him. I woke up, had an epiphany, and I was like, this might be a really cool brand because he wanted us to work to work with him. So we started working and I got bit with the agave spirit bug. I started learning about it, tasting. He had a mezcal. I tasted a mezcal in 2010, right? It was like you open up the bottle and like all the smoke, you could see the smoke coming out. That was my first introduction with mezcal. And so we decided to start our own business basically, right? I said, hey, we could do this ourselves, So we went off and started an agave spirit company in 2014. Yep, absolutely. Yep. And, I decided to step down in 2018, but during this time, I learned so much about the business. Right. It does parlay really beautifully with music.
Very much so.
Right? So
Very
I was like,
so.
oh, this, and I'm good at, my thing is branding and
marketing
and strategy. I was like, okay. But the hard part about doing an alcohol spirit is the compliance. I did not realize how much regulation, compliance, all of it, and each state had its own regulations, right? So you had to learn that, and so that in the 3-tier system of alcohol spirits. So that was my learning curve and my first foray into agave spirits. I love agave. It's my favorite. I know back then we were going uphill with what agave is versus tequila. So everything was tequila, right? You'd see a menu and you'd have tequila and then you'd have these agave spirits under it. There's so many beautiful Mexican spirits, right? And so it was a push to try to change that narrative of saying, oh, this is a tequila, agave spirits is a wide plethora, right? Bacanora, Soto, all those and beautiful.
There are tons.
And Soto is not quite an agave, but in that kind of space. So I really loved it, but in 2018, just decided to part ways. Step back is still part of the business, but not every day.
Right.
And then end of 2018, and then got back into the music biz, doing and more than that. I had other people wanted me to consult on building their brands and helping them with their visuals and things. And so, but I kept in my gut, I kept like missing something, and I was trying to figure out what that was. And so I had during COVID hit, right. So good time for soul searching,
absolutely,
and really kind of getting into it. And so my business partner now, Ingrid Chavez, she's amazing, and in the music business herself. I said during COVID, you've got to try mezcal because that's the next step in the transition of like people's palate in the States, Tequila's great, kind of gets a little one-notey now because it's, the terroirs, there are differences, but, it's still one agave plant. So mezcal was like courting me, in the sense of like, the layers and the depth of this particular spirit. So I ordered up a bunch of mezcals, all different ones that I thought were really good to taste. And I drove up to where she was at during our little pod that we all had. And we could, we could see each other. And she is up in Carmel, Big Sur area. So it was great, right? Yeah. So I had it all shipped up there and I did this tasting, and she had loved the reposados and the añejos, you know, the age. And I was like, Ingrid, you gotta like, this is like blancos, even in tequila, the right ones are incredible.
Yeah.
If you do it. And so she's tasted the mezcals and she's like, wow, there's so much flavor and depth and
variance.
Variance of the plants itself. Yeah. Really, it's so, each plant and everything is unique. And every Palenque, which is the distillery, is so unique in how they do it.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we finally, COVID ended in 2022. And we were out finally at a restaurant in Hollywood. Long story short, great back bar of agave spirits. And I'm like, oh man, it would be great to have a bar like this. And she's like, I've always wanted to have a bar. I was like, well, you know, if we have a bar, we got to have, you know, a brand. Yeah. And obviously you can't
have both. Yeah, you can't have both.
So we chose the brand, you know,
smart,
the bar. Love bars, but you know, so anyway, that night I went home. I was joking, I thought. And I just sat on it and marinated for like a couple days. And I called her and I was like, would you want to do a mezcal? And she's like, yes. I was like, next thing we know, we were flying down.
There you go.
To Oaxaca that May right then. And, you know, and then we were out on all the different producers. You know, we tasted so many. And one of the criterias I had a really great guy that really knows the area in Oaxaca. And he really did us well. He took us around, listened to what we wanted, which before we left, I said, I would really love to have a female mezcalera.
Absolutely.
If possible. It's not a deal breaker, but please, because I know mezcal, there are more women. Mm-hmm. And because it's a celebration, and you know, mezcal is a special spirit in Mexico, and it's, you know, revered. You know, it's really important. You know, and so a lot of women are in this. So he said, I will. And so the second, we had no, you know, expectations that week. We just said, we're going to go down, we're going to taste, and we'll see if we find someone. And the second person we tasted is what you're tasting, or we just did a tasting with.
What was the moment that you realized that this fusion between music and this ancestral spirit was not only possible, but necessary?
I equate like the reason why we named it Las Melodías de la Luna, the melodies. Mm-hmm. So there's notes that are in, you know, all spirits, some more than others. But Rosario's mezcal really, you know, reflected these notes in mezcal, and it just feels like right for me. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I go back and say why I decided to do a mezcal, and it was I missed the farmers. I missed the producers. I was missing that. There was something I was missing. It wasn't necessarily the business part, although it's important. Yeah. But the essence of it is really where I wanted. I'd missed that. And I feel that about music as well. It kind of, you know, the feel of it. And so I feel that about spirits and in general. And so it was really important to find a mezcal for us that really was, you know, there are a lot of things, sustainability. Absolutely. Hopefully a female producer, which, you know, and obviously at the end of the day, the beautiful spirit in the bottle.
It has to taste good.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think, you know, having it all come full circle for you and then being able to tie in the music, you know, lineage, as well as the ancestral heritage of the spirit is important. And
absolutely. Done that and Ingrid's from the music business, and we met because of Prince and her background. And we were doing a PRN alumni event, you know, after he just passed. We were doing a celebration with people that had worked for him at Paisley Park. And I thought she would be a great representation as far as her poetry and the beautiful. Would she come and do a poetry piece? Yeah. She did. She said, yeah, and she did. And she came in. Funny story. Is there enough time? Because Oh yeah. So how I was like, she's my peeps right there. So we're at this really beautiful event, and I had put up the agave spirit revel up in the green room,
Okay.
not to drink because there's rules for the night.
Right.
They've got their alcohol. We weren't serving it,
Mhm.
but it was for later after the night, and I see the head of the place come stomping down the steps to me, and she's angry, and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, you have your alcohol out right now in the green room. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, Ingrid had thought it was like green room, like, part of the green room. She cracked it open, giving people sips.
I would have did it.
Right? So I was like, I got through the night, but I was like, I like her.
Mhm.
And so we were besties ever since. And it just, that connection and love of agave and everything is.
Yeah, really, agave brought you together. That's super
Isn't
cool.
that
Super
funny
cool.
though?
Okay. Right about now, we're going to play a little game I call Deep Cuts.
Okay. Boy.
And this, we're going to dig a little deeper
Okay.
into who you are, about certain aspects, and we're going to ask some questions.
All
And
right.
just first thing that comes to mind, give it to us.
All
Okay.
right. I'll try
This
to
is
do
Deep
it.
Cuts.
All right.
First question is, every bottle tells a story, but not every story makes the label. You were one of the first BIPOC founders in agave spirits with Revel. What were the invisible bottles or battles behind the title, and how did you shape and build what you have now?
There were definitely, one, being a female,
For sure.
in a male-dominated, extremely dominated field of alcohol, and then also tequila and agave spirits. I didn't set out to do a tequila or agave. It just kind of happened. We found a really great farm, and we just loved the juice, and that was what it was, and decided to do that. But the first thing was actually the people that were the tastemakers in tequila looking at us like,
Yeah, who are you?
Who are these people of color black folk coming up, rolling in and trying to have a tequila or agave spirit or whatever, and this is our, kind of a little bit. But once they tasted and then really kind of felt our passion for it and appreciation and what we were doing for our distillery, it was amazing because every time we would go down when we were bringing up product up and selling, it was a dirt road. Then it became a paved road. Then extra, distillation, stills and all this started to grow. Right. And that was really my heart. I was like, oh my God, this is like incredible. Happening. It's happening. And it's happening for these beautiful people down there that work really hard. So then bringing that to where we're at with Las Melodías de la Luna, we really wanted to have intention with our name. So because of our music background, Las Melodías, but we also, when we flew down into Oaxaca, that night was the super eclipse red moon, and we were on the rooftop in Oaxaca that first night before we started our adventure. Every time we've gone down to Oaxaca, not intentionally, there were moons. And so it was significant in the way that the indigenous harvested and the moonlight and things like that. And we thought that adding the melodies of the moon, Las Melodías de la Luna. The other thing with our label was intentional too. Oaxaca, when we went, we were like, the first time it was very vibrant in colors. Their restaurants and their homes and everything were bright, beautiful colors, right? And then there's this beautiful backdrop of these rolling hills because you fly into the kind of valley and then go out. That really, we wanted to make sure that the label captured that essence of how we felt about Oaxaca. Yeah. And so I think that's important when you're thinking about your brand and with intent, how that all comes together. Yeah,
that's amazing. It's amazing. Speaking of that, your partnership with Rosario, her being female, young, and fearless though.
Yes.
So she's pushing the boundaries of it.
Right.
Tell me about how that relationship has really, pushed the brand forward because, you set out, you had ideas of wanting a female distiller.
Right.
But you found this unique partner, and she's right in line with where you were, and
Yeah.
then now you guys are this force.
Yeah, it was I call it magic. The way it kind of just fell into place. So as I said, the second person we tasted ended up being Rosario. And as much as I loved it, I was like, we've got like 50 more producers,
Right.
right, all week.
How far down the line did you go? Honestly, did you go all the way?
We went all the way.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
until
business
that-
mind of you.
Yeah, had to do it. But by Friday, we had drank, and we had tasted some other amazing mezcals, female, male, all of them,
Yeah.
great. But there was something special about her that she had a Western sensibility to the way that she had put her palenque together, where she would have tours coming in. It was really set well. Like you could do amazing dinners down
Right.
there. I could just see this, like, thing. But I also felt like she, because of her background of not being a mezcalero in the beginning, her
Mhm.
family wasn't a 5-generation mezcal family. Um, she was trying different things that maybe
Yeah.
she would have been told that's not how you do it, so she had an openness about the way she wanted to try different profiles. So when I tasted the cacao, I was like, I've never tasted a mezcal like this
Mhm.
ever, and the espadine was phenomenal. And we have another one down the pike.
Yeah.
But she's, she's pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
of a young mezcalero. And all of that together, like by Friday, we were at our our attorney at the time we hired her, and Alvin, who was the one that really brought all the different producers together. He was phenomenal in helping us. He he said while we were talking, he was like, "You guys keep going back to Rosario. Do you
Mhm.
guys want to go?" We were leaving that Saturday. It was Friday, and I looked at Ingrid, and we were like, "Yeah, I think we know." And so we went back, but she had been courted by different producers, right? She's becoming a rock star,
Yeah,
starting to get known. And so I just said to her, "Listen, we said we would love to work with you. We're gonna go back to the States, take your time and think about it, and we can talk more." And she's like, "No, I want to work with you." And we were like the next month down signing production.
There you go.
And that was
And the
magic.
and the rest is
Yeah.
history.
And
And the
she's
rest is-
wonderful. She oh my gosh. She's part of the labor. She is
Yeah.
in it, and it isn't mezcal's different than tequila in the sense of like there isn't all these machines that tell you the steaming is done for the tequila. It's very when it's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that I love that.
Right.
She has to, with her skills and their team skills, know when that the agave's roasted
Right.
and it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because every plant is different.
absolutely.
The-
And every heat, the
Yep.
oven is different,
Yeah.
the plants are different. Every time you put it, that's why mezcal is batch
Right.
orientated, which
Right.
I love. I
Right.
love batch.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
mm,
My next question: the synergy between music and celebration is really what it's about,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
that synergy is a powerful one. It's why this whole entire podcast exists, about the connection between food, music, and culture,
Mhm.
right? And those three powerful forces that connect everybody.
right.
How do you see the spirit being a conduit to knocking down some of these barriers? Because I would say that I believe biases cannot exist in an area where there's a reverence for the art from the artist.
Mhm.
So the more people learn about the spirit and
Right.
what its intended purposes is, and then the people that are producing it, the less. If you have a reverence for the art, you have to have a reverence for the people.
You
Right.
do.
So how do you feel about that part of it? Because you're exposing people to all of it,
Right.
and therefore educating them on the process and the intent. By nature, through those processes, you have to fall in love with it, right? And the people.
Absolutely. That I go back to what I was missing
Mm-hmm.
when I left my first company. And I say this fully. I missed flying into Mexico City, driving down to the farms, having producers and drones. We're up at 5 o'clock in the morning before the sun rises, and we're getting, these beautiful sunrise and um, drone shots over our fields. And then I'm dealing with the farmers and the master distillers there. And I missed that. And that is really the connection. And I think one of the things that is special about this particular spirit is the ancestral part that really got to me, in the sense of like how this was done 400 years
Yeah,
ago, or
exactly.
if more.
Yeah.
They argue how long, but I'm going to say 4 to be on the safe side.
Right.
But and they've handed it down generation to generation. And mezcal is special and it's unique, and it's the way it's done, so I was connected
Yeah.
on so many levels. But I go back to Rosario and her family. It's amazing, like the cacao paste that is done for the cacao mezcal is her mother's recipe,
Wow.
right? So beautiful.
Yeah, deeply rooted. Yeah,
Right?
she's in
And
there.
we got to go to her home, and her mother showed us how she roasts, and it's beautiful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to see that her parents were against her doing a mezcal or
Wow.
being a mezcalero. They were
Yeah.
like, "No, you're going to be a school teacher
Yeah,
teaching
anything
English."
but, right? Anything
Yeah,
but.
no, because her family are from the tomato farmers
Okay.
at heart. And so there wasn't a background of this long lineage
Yeah.
of that. And they were like, "No, you can't." And she was like, by 28,
Yeah, I'm doing
yeah, no.
it.
So that's my heart right there. I'm
Yeah.
like, I love her.
Yeah, that's
You
amazing.
know,
That's
like,
amazing.
yeah, going for it.
Let's talk about the fusion of the two.
Mhm.
So the when you sip mezcal, specifically when you sip your mezcal,
Mhm.
what's the soundtrack in your head? So I'm a firm believer in that. The food and the music side are paired together in this very symbiotic way. So when you are, tasting this mezcal, what's the genre? At least the genre.
Well, I'm
that
going to tell
plays
you,
in your head?
well, one of the artists that I think about when the complexity of the spirit is Hiatus Coyote. They're unique,
Yeah,
and they've got all the different, there's R&B, there's
very
jazz,
layered. Yeah.
there's esoteric,
Mhm.
all of that. And I really like, I think her name's Napalm, a just really unique person and a unique band. And so I feel that, like, kind of with the uniqueness of spirits and that.
Mhm.
So
And then being celebratory again,
yeah,
it's a celebratory spirit.
absolutely.
Painting that picture for people through all of the different, applications, if you will.
Right.
Normally when you have spirits, you think about, placing yourself in a room
Yeah.
to enjoy that.
Right.
So when you do that, it goes with a soundtrack. You'll need some music
Mhm.
along with that. So definitely, I just wondered that, like, how do you feel when it? Because
I mean, your moods are different. So
absolutely.
like sometimes I want to have a tobola, or I might want to have our espadine, but sometimes I want the cacao,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And just depending on your mood. So they all can, as music changes with our
Okay.
moods, right?
Give us a sonic pairing. So
Mm.
let's go through the expressions.
Mhm.
What would the pairing be with the tobola, then the espadine, and then the cacao?
That's interesting. Well, I'll say Hiatus Coyote
Yep.
for the tobola. Espadine. I'm gonna go with Prince.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I just gotta do
I-
that because he's so
Understood.
layered,
Yeah,
and
very much so.
it's complex. But
Which
it's still
Prince though?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's wow. I mean, I love his B. We'll go with the B sides.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
let's do
Okay.
that. I know lots of people, but I always had the
Yeah.
B sides when I
Okay.
was growing up. And then the cacao. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a jazz of
Okay.
some sort,
Yeah.
but not the traditional jazz that you might hear on like smooth jazz.
Okay.
I'm talking a bit of God, I'm trying to remember his name. He's so good. He's a drummer, but he's out. I would pair it with him. Can't
Okay.
think of his name right now. But yeah, a little jazz, smooth.
Yeah.
It's an after hour kind of aperitif.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
aperitif?
aperitif. Mhm.
And great pairings with all kinds of sweet and cheeses. So I'm gonna go with jazz on that.
Okay, let's go food.
Mhm.
What is a dish that takes you back to a moment that you wish you could bottle forever?
Wow. I would say I love Indian food.
I do as well.
So it would definitely be an amazing. I I was born in England, so they're known
Heavy, heavy. Some of the
amazing,
best
some of the
Indian food to
best.
get.
Yeah. So I remember having such an incredible. It's random, but Edinburgh.
Okay.
There was a great Indian restaurant there, and I remember just loving it and fighting with my brothers and about who's gonna be able to beat the heat. So we would back then we would get the
Yeah.
heat as hot as we could. There was a
Go ahead.
I'll tell you another. There was a great restaurant in Minneapolis called Sri Lanka,
I remember
and
Sri Lanka.
oh my god, and it had more of that, and it was hot, and I
Where?
loved it.
Okay. Is there an Indian restaurant here now that you lean on?
I'm trying to find it. Do you have a recommendation?
I do not. I do not.
Please.
I was looking for your recommendation. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, that's missing.
Hmm.
It's missing.
Yeah.
I used to be able to find just about anything here.
Right.
So, like really good Indian food will be the next.
That'll be the jam.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. Talk to me about you being a Black woman, creating an ancestral Mexican spirit. What is that? What is your feelings behind the responsibility that you must feel
Hmm.
to culturally be seen and represented in a certain light?
Right. I feel my job is to represent best for Rosario
Mhm.
and the spirit itself and the Mexican people. Um, might not. I didn't grow up in that culture,
Mhm.
but I love it, and it's just a passion of mine. I love the way I just gravitated towards how well balanced they grow beautiful. I mean, it's like you go down to Rosario's Palenque and there's just fields of beautiful marigolds that she does for Day of the Dead. It's just plants and
Mhm.
I just want to be connected back to that roots. I don't know if that is my ancestral roots too that's
Mhm.
pulling me towards that since I'm not on that continent.
Yeah,
So I feel like connected because of that.
yeah. But the stories I think align though. So the
Mhm.
fact that like you said, a lot of the work for mezcal is done by women, but
Yeah.
not a lot of the shine is
Right.
given, right?
Right.
And so that strong backing of a woman getting all of the attention for not only what the works, but on the other side as well. And so you're, a woman-led company
Right.
that is pushing forward the works of women. I think is a super powerful.
It is. I
combination.
got to tell you that I've tasted a lot of mezcal,
Mhm.
and I'm going to tell you the women that are the mezcaleros, not dissing the guys, but I tend to like. It's like there's this uh, deeper notes and richness, and it's light but still very strong. I mean, the alcohol in it where she does it. I mean, you tried the Tobola. It's
Yeah.
49,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah. I,
it feels so beautifully balanced. It's not burning. It's
No,
like
no, not at all.
it's just the
Not at all.
balance there. And a lot of the women that they've had an opportunity to taste their mezcal. It's beautiful and
It's a lot like food, though. So it's a lot like,
right.
honestly,
Yes.
when you talk about I don't care who you are, your most memorable meals are coming from women.
Hmm.
They just are, right? And it's a certain amount of love and respect that a woman puts into everything she does. It shows.
Yeah. I mean, I asked Rosario how she her thought process on how she came up with her way she does her mezcal, and she felt it was like a perfume to her.
Mm. That's
Right?
actually really,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what she said, and I went, wow,
it's very cool.
yes, that's really cool. And she has her own um, special clay still pot that she tries.
Ah,
Because there's Pechuga and all these
yeah.
different things that you can blend, but she has her little creation pot, to try out new,
Listen,
being creative and pushing that boundary out.
whatever she's doing, she
Yep.
she has it down.
Yes,
Let her do what
absolutely.
she's doing.
Well, I mean, the Espadine won double gold and is 99. The score was 99.
Right.
I mean, out the
Well,
gate.
that's okay. That was the next. So we was jumping into
Yeah,
that. First
sorry.
off, congratulations
Thank you.
on the win. So the double gold,
Double gold. Yeah,
double
yeah.
gold, and the year before won silver.
Yes. Right?
So
Yeah. And then the cacao,
Yeah,
won
absolutely.
gold, and then we are in running for best in class. We're a finalist for the San Francisco World Spirits Competition in November. So we're invited
Absolutely.
for that. But I mean, this is out of the gate. This is our first,
Again.
so.
So speak to me about those awards. So I know that you were most excited about that for her.
Yeah,
Because this is validation
absolutely.
that what you're not crazy, what you
Yep.
stuck to your guns, and
Mhm.
this is the result of that.
Yeah.
How do you see, being such a young company though,
Mhm.
that the awards, what light does that put you in? Does it make you obviously you knew that, okay, we're on the right track.
Yeah.
But what kind of headspace does that put you in as far as the future and the future of the industry and how things are going?
I'm excited. That's all I got to say. It's like, I guess if you were likening it to a Grammy.
Yeah.
Right? And you.
Oh yeah, these are the Grammys for spirits.
It is,
for
because
sure.
San Francisco is known. There are a lot of spirits, and I'm not great spirits competitions out there, but this one is known as one of the, and you're up against, amazing other spirits, right? And to get this far in that, it just, I already knew, but it is a validation, and it's just really exciting. It really kind of, we still have to do the work. We still have to, but it really does, for when we are promoting and marketing, and that we can really say we're award winning.
Well, yeah, you're opening doors, so
Yeah,
that
absolutely, yeah.
those awards get you
Absolutely,
indoors for
yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
And it's affirmation that you're on the right frequency.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I made sure that, so we have a beautiful attorney, Blanca. She's down, but she's known. She teaches. She's known for mezcal exporting. She's known for that, and so I made sure she knew that Rosario. We won, and then she put it in her paper, which is big.
Wow.
For
the area,
Rosario,
yeah,
right?
that's huge.
And I get a WhatsApp from Rosario. She's like, "I'm getting hit up by all these people. Congratulations!" I was like,
There you
"Good,
go. Good job.
because the thing is, it's not about us all.
Right.
It's all collective. I want her to grow. I want her to expand. I want her to have a great, successful business of her own.
Right.
There's enough to share, so I want to make sure she's doing well.
Right.
So
Right. No, that's amazing. It really is. Again, I think the part of all of it, the part of branding, is to be able to convey a story.
Yep.
And that's what's beautiful about your mezcal. You're going. It's a full, well-bodied story from earth to plant to harvest.
It really
to
is.
bottle.
Yeah, and it's just a special. It's and I like the batch part.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
There is a.
It ain't for everybody either. You're not supposed to be like.
Yeah.
It's very limited. It's a limited run. It's the care and the intention.
Right.
Is all there, and so I think it's amazing, and I've always thought it was amazing. So I'm happy that and I knew once it was out there that these things would start rolling in, but it's another thing from believing it and then happening.
And then it being reality. Yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
what?
no, it's something. It's something.
It is. It is.
You've been quoted by saying that Las Melodías is not just a mezcal. It's not just a product. Sorry, it is a movement. Speak to me about the movement of, you know, spirits on this level and what that means for not only just yourself as a company and individuals, but for the industry at whole. Because, as these things become more commonplace, because with the manner in which you're producing, it also pushes the industry in a certain direction that is good for everybody.
It is. I think that as we get older, our taste buds evolve. Like
Mhm.
in your teens, well, you're supposed to be 21
Yeah.
back then. When you shoot in alcohol
Yeah,
just to feel it
for an
for
effect.
back. Yes,
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
taste,
yeah.
right? And I love the graduation of these stories, but where it's coming from. And I think that younger people today are really starting to like really go, what am I putting in my body?
Hmm.
And if I'm going to have that, what is the process? Why should I, spend this money with this spirit?
Hmm.
And I think it's, I think like for Mescal in the Gabi spirits world is the next, it's the evolution of being able to, to understand that it's just not for the effects.
Right.
It's and I think younger people are starting to, and I think that's what's kind of swaying and changing the thought process of when you're going to drink and how you're going to drink it. I mean, if I want to have something to drink, I want it to be really good.
Right.
And I want it to not have lots of additives and sugars and all that. I want it to be pure. And for me, an agave plant is the best plant for alcohol out there. It is the lowest on the glycemic spike.
Hmm.
So all those things were important because it is alcohol,
Yeah. At
right?
the end of the day,
It is, but I just feel like there's this a good narrative starting to happen with just good things in your body. So I have a cousin, and she was posting her on Instagram, her what she she likes tequila and all that, and it's good, right? And I look and I go, oh boy. And so she finally posted one, and I was like, and I went, oh my god, you leveled up. And she's like, yeah, I can't be doing those additives and all that anymore. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's starting to like, okay, think about what you're putting in your body.
Well, the young people today, how they are ingesting information is through
Mhm.
story.
Mhm.
So
Big
the
time.
story matters most for them.
Yep.
You're not going to get them without the story.
I
And
agree.
so
Yeah.
when you have a true and honest, authentic story that is not manufactured to sell, but just to educate,
Right.
that's when you hit gold.
And then what's in the bottle is
Oh
got
yeah,
to back up,
and
right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah,
Right. So if you have a really authentic story, whatever your brand is or whatever, but at the end of the day, you still want to have a solid thing that is the
for
basis of
sure.
it, right? And so I've been going to doing tastings and people are like, educate us on the ancestral versus artisanal and how
Mhm.
that, and people really want to know
Yeah,
that. How it
it's
is.
super
You're
interesting,
right.
and it's specifically for Black people because tracing our heritage and lineage is hard, right?
Hmm.
So when you can, that's why I fell in love with Japanese culture because it can go back billions of years.
Right.
Like you can literally see it, and with this you can taste it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that is fascinating to me to be able to, you know, go that far back to the root of things and have something that is representative of that is amazing. Speaking of that, what does legacy look like for you in terms of the business? Because it's rooted in two places: Black America and Oaxaca.
Hmm.
So what? How does that? How do you?
Well, I'm just integrating that. I don't really. I've never been but one for um, being put into one place.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm just open to. Um, I realized like I am one of the first female in agave spirits. I
Mm-hmm.
actually am the first.
I was going to say it, but you said it. Go ahead.
But but I it's just amazing to see other, like, I got invited to the Uncle Nearest event that they had, and it was BIPOC and amazing, and just seeing all these women of color doing tequilas and whiskeys, and so I want to be part of that legacy of a trailblazer, and in that. I just happen to love agave spirits, and that's what I chose. I could have chose a whiskey or whatever,
Right.
but for me, that my profile, the way I love, and I have to be authentic with what I like.
Absolutely.
Right? I have to. Like when I tasted Rosario's, I was like,
Yeah.
"This is, what we need." And so that's. I just want to be part of the trailblazing, open it up.
I mean,
We have a group on a text, all Black female, all doing different spirits, and we ask for help when we need it from the group.
yeah.
So
Best practices. That's
yeah,
cool.
right.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool?
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
and so
Brain trust.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if someone says, "Hey, do you recommend this distributor, or what do you think about, like, bookkeeping? Who do you use for bookkeeping?" Because it is a little bit different,
Yeah.
with the spirits world. Who do you use? So if there's a little collective there that's starting to really kind of move.
That's incredibly inspiring to hear because specifically with people of color, there tends to be this mentality that, or at least this narrative that's pushed that we don't get along, right?
Right.
Specifically women, right? Like
Right.
a group of you put 5 women in a room together, somebody's limping out. It's gonna but when you have like-minded people that have goal, it doesn't always have to just be one, right?
No,
there's enough to go around.
Absolutely, and I feel that's really starting to happen.
Yeah.
I love our collective.
Yeah.
It started with Uncle Nearest and Fawn Weaver and what she's done with her team, and then it's not about competition. It's about lifting each other up. I want everybody in that text to
Absolutely. Well,
thrive.
In that the more the merrier, right? So
Yeah.
you can't, Michael Jackson and Prince, although they was complete opposite sides of the spectrum,
Right.
they pushed each other.
They did.
And so there was some, I mean, there's a lot of competition, but
Yeah.
they were both. It was a necessary thing to have those two, for each other
Absolutely.
and for the art.
It
that they
pushed
created.
and pushed.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, I mean,
now imagine again, we talking about testosterone here, but imagine if they could have had, had a conversation of like, best practices and things. That didn't happen. We know that
Right,
famously
no.
did not happen.
But
if it would have, if it could have, like imagine how much further, how much more, incredible art we could have gotten
right.
from that situation.
So I feel like the women that I've, we are all pushing each other, pushing.
Yeah.
And my goal is to be part of that, to help. I love what Fawn did and has done and is still doing, but that our job is to
carry on.
Carry it on.
Carry on. Yeah, Fawn's amazing.
Yeah, she is.
She's
yeah. And but it's really cool. There was no ego.
Yeah.
It was all about, what can we do to help each other when we can. So
absolutely. Okay, before I let you leave here, we have to do something I call the lightning round. So in the lightning round, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions or comments, and really quick, your rebuttal, however you see fit.
Okay, let's try. Let's go.
It's gonna be awesome.
All right.
Okay. What's the first concert you ever attended?
Jaco Pastori Weather Report
Where?
in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay. What's your favorite mezcal cocktail? Now, I know you go neat, but what's your favorite mezcal cocktail?
Wow, there's so many amazing ones now. I had a really great mixologist. She just did this. She took our Tobola, which is like crazy to do because you should drink it neat.
Yeah, for sure.
She took it and made a olive oil. It was an olive oil jalapeno drops on the top, and it was I don't know what citrus it was incredible. So I don't know the name of it. She just
Okay.
made it riffed off it, but I was like, this was amazing. So
That sounds great.
mhm.
Okay, you have your last bottle of your rarest mezcal. You're sharing it with 3 people. Who are those 3 people?
My mom, if she was alive,
Mm-hmm.
my son when he's of age.
Yeah, nice. Or just transport him to another place where it's legal. Yeah. Germany allows it.
Wow, just and my brother. Been
Okay,
yeah.
awesome, awesome. What's the biggest false narrative about mezcal?
Oh, it's so smoky,
Mm-hmm.
and isn't there a worm in it? That
I
is
just had a
like
conversation about the worm the
yeah,
other day, like literally,
yeah,
literally.
right. So if you have a really good mezcal, it's really nicely balanced with the smoke.
Yeah,
There is some smoke to it, but
yeah, but
that's the
it's-
roasting of the pinas. So.
Absolutely, it shouldn't be a smoke bomb. It shouldn't taste like liquid smoke.
Right. You want to taste everything else, but it's part of the
Yes, one of the notes.
complexity.
One of the notes.
Yep.
One of the notes. Okay, one word to describe Las Melodías de la Luna.
Wow. Music in a bottle.
We'll go with 3 words. Okay.
Shit. Music. Yeah, first the bottle is like that's hilarious.
Works.
I love it. In the bottle.
In the
It's
bottle.
music.
Yeah.
It's music.
There you go. There you go. All right. So tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can support you, where you are locally, and then what's to come.
Yeah. So we're starting in the market of Minnesota. So we are around town now, and it's growing. You can find us on melodiasdelaluna.com. And that is also our Instagram as well. And in there's a an app where it shows what bars, restaurants, retail we're on, and we're also online as well.
Awesome. And give them your social.
Yeah, it's at Melodias de la Luna.
There we go. Okay. Again, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. Thank you for bringing.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to continually watching the success of this amazing product.
I can't wait for us to do a.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen.
Right,
There will be some
amazing.
pairing events.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Wait.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
It's all happening, and the spirits will be very, very live.
And I appreciate your support.
For sure.
I do.
For sure. Again, this has been the Taste Music Hear Food podcast show. I am your host, Ed Porter. Till next time, peace.
You know what we doing. Y'all know it takes a special track to do this. My mama B's accused, ripper sauce. It's just the fluid, it's the chef. I'm here to remind y'all I'm sick with it. My name is stuff that's hot, it's ubiquitous. Meaning it's one and the same, simple and plain. I'm all about my paper, the bacon, cheddar, and pain. I got these lanes running for the border. The talented Mr. Porter, keep it flowing like it's water. But here we go, creeping to a low speed. Is it him and his friend sitting in the nosebleeds? Play it cool, he ain't special just cause he's on TV. Everybody's hands up, acting like they know we the best in
MBC. No relation to NBC.